For the second part of 2.1, we're going to be looking at trends and estimating values. So we got a couple of important words. First, we've got interpolate, and that's to estimate a value between two known values. So if we're looking at example 3 here, we know what the growth of the bean plant is when they first planted it. At 0 time, I'm going to assume, when they first planted here, and we know how much it's grown after after 1 week even, or after 2 weeks. We know how much it's grown after 1 week. Let's say we want to know how much it's grown after half a week. We're interpolating because it's in between two known values. Extrapolate is to estimate a value beyond a known range of values. So if I wanted to say, well, how tall is it going to be after week 15, for example? So now I'm picking something out here. I don't have another value after that. I'm just looking at the trend and I'm going to say, well, I think this is how much it's going to be, but I'm not sure. Whereas we've got a little more accuracy with interpolation, generally, depending on the situation, but we know, for example, that a bean plant is likely not going to have shrunk after week 2. So between week 2 and week 3, it's going to be somewhere in here. We're not sure exactly where, but we can take a guess. However, we don't know for sure what's happening after week 11, but we're extrapolating. We can guess what goes on. So interpolation inside your graph, extrapolation outside your graph. So here we have this growth rate of a bean plant that David planted in his vegetable garden. And he forgot to record the height of a bean plant in week 4. We're going to use the graph to interpolate the height of the plant that week. So we know what it was after week 3. We know what it was after week 5. We're going to take a guess at week 4. So we have this dotted line. Where does this dotted line meet week 4? Well, right here. I wish that would stop coming up. Right there. And how high is it? Well, it's a little taller than 20 centimeters. This would be 25, not quite, so I'd say maybe 21 or 22 centimeters. Make sure you have your units. What might the height of the plant be in week 12? Well, let's see what's happening here. This would be week 12 about here, and what's happening with our graph? Well, it seems to kind of have leveled off. It's not really growing anymore. Week 10, week 12, or 11, they're almost exactly the same. So I'm going to guess that week 11 is probably going to be, or week 12 is going to be about the same. I'm going to say it might be 39 or 40 centimeters. It might grow a little bit. Maybe there was, it's reaching its maximum height, but maybe there wasn't really a whole lot going on that week. It was pretty dry and hot, and it didn't really grow. It needed some rain, or maybe it wasn't really sunny. Who knows? And we want to write a statement describing trends in the bean plant's growth from week 0 to week 11. Well, it's growing. It's growing quite quickly up until, I'd say maybe week 5. Quickly until about week 5. At that point, the growth levels off a bit. Seems to have stopped growing after week 10. Okay, so make that look like an actual Y. So that's some information, some trends that we can see. And let's just see what. And so there's interpolating here, extrapolating there, and then describing trends for that plant or that graph. Also notice we've got the growth of a bean plant. We've got our title. Vertical axis is labeled. It's the height in centimeters. Horizontal axis is labeled. It's the week. Well, you could say time in weeks. That's fine. they've chosen W and H for weeks and height. And then everything's in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of labeling. Also, well, 6, I guess, because we've got, or you could say 5. We've got our numbers here, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. We've got our numbers there. And there's our graph.